Hey y'all, thank you for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be baking up these yummy pumpkin empanadas. And on top of that, today's video is a collaboration from Norma from Love and Fuzzy Dusters and Maddie from Two Chicks Ever Afters. And they are also baking up some yummy desserts for the fall season. So you want to check out their channels. And this is actually the second time that I collaborated with Norma, and we decided to collaborate again with this fall treat. I know she does a lot of motivational videos as well, like motivational cleaning videos. She also gives a lot of keto-friendly recipes. She was on a weight loss journey, so she shares that with you, which motivated me to get up and start becoming healthy again. And then Maddie, well, Maddie's just a sweetheart, you guys. Will just love her channel. She does a lot of cooking, baking, a lot of organization and cleaning motivation, and I am truly obsessed with her channel and all her furry friends because I love my furry four-legged friends. So I'm going to leave Norma and Maddie's information in the description box down for you guys so you can check out their channels after this video. But you know what? I've been thinking about this for so long. I'm ready to start baking. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. The ingredients that you'll need is prepared flour or flour for tortillas. You're also going to need some sugar, some lard, not Crisco but lard, some puree, and some cinnamon and allspice, as well as some evaporated milk. To your mixing bowl, you're going to add 4 cups of flour, a half cup of sugar, and then you're going to combine it well. You will also need 2.5 tablespoons of cinnamon and a teaspoon of allspice and combine it well. You are then going to add 2 tablespoons of lard, but you're going to add it 1 tablespoon at a time. So I like to break up the lard in my hand so it warms up, and then I combine it well in the flour. And then once well combined, I will go in with the 2nd tablespoon of lard and do the same process. You are then going to add in about 1.25 cups of warm water, and you want to add in a little bit at a time. You want to make sure that it's all combined well before you add in more water. Now, if you do add too much water, you can just add in a tablespoon of flour and then just mix it well. Once your dough is almost combined inside the bowl, you want to remove it so that you can begin to knead. And I like to knead for about 3 to 5 minutes or until there are no signs of dry flour. For the pumpkin puree, we're just going to put it in a small pot to warm up because we are going to add sugar, cinnamon, and allspice. And I apologize beforehand because I didn't realize that my camera stopped filming, so it didn't catch me adding in these extra ingredients. But all I did was add 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and about 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. At this point, I preheated the oven to 350 degrees. Now we're going to start with the fun part. So I just grabbed a piece of dough, I rolled it into a ball, and then with a little bit of flour, I just added onto my rolling pin. This is just going to help the dough from not sticking onto the rolling pin. And then you just want to roll out your dough to a good even size where it's not too thick but not too thin either. I'm going to show you two different versions on how to make the empanadas, and at this point the kids can join in or the entire family, and this can be the start of making traditions as my family and I did growing up. Now that the dough is rolled out, I'm going to take a cookie cutter in the shape of a pumpkin and I'm going to cut out two. And now that I have my pumpkins, it's time to start to add in the filling. And with the filling, it's something that you're going to have to eyeball. You don't want too much because if you add too much, it will seep through the ends when baking. But then again, you don't want too little because then it'll be too much dough. So just eyeball it and kind of guesstimate. And once you have your filling, you're just going to pinch it very well. And then you're just going to poke 2 holes in the middle so it cooks thoroughly. This next version is more traditional, except I do like my empanadas a little bit more of a bite size rather than the larger ones. So again, I'm just showing you what I like in my household. You customize it to your preference. And all I'm doing is rolling out the dough like I did earlier. And once I have the dough rolled out, I'm going to add my filling, except the filling that I'm going to be adding is going to be more towards the bottom and not so much more in the middle. And then I'm just going to fold the top of the dough over so it looks like a half of a pie or a calzone. And then I'm going to pinch the ends with a fork and then poke 2 holes in the middle. I'm going to make a large empanada just so you more or less get an idea of what I was talking about earlier. And this is how I grew up eating them. So in my culture, I'm Hispanic that I know of, story time for later. This is how we eat them. And this is the sweet version. In other Latin cultures, their version of empanadas is differently. And most of them are filled with meat. So I just thought I would throw that in there so you more or less get an idea of what I'm talking about. When I have a full sheet of empanadas, prior to putting them in the oven, I'm going to coat them with condensed milk. And then I'm going to stick them into the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes in the refrigerator, you're going to take them out and put another light coat of condensed milk. And then you will put them in the oven for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes of cooking, you're going to add a 3rd coat, and this will be the final coat. And then you want to cook them for at least 5 more minutes. You can test them by just grabbing one of the empanadas and turning it over just to make sure it's brown on the back side, or the top will start to brown up as well. So here are the results of this yummy, delicious treat. I like to display mine on a dessert stand. So I'm just here enjoying this. Like, as you can see, it's almost all gone. I'm loving these, you guys. So for me, being that I don't like a lot of like pumpkin spice or pumpkin anything, I felt like adding the cinnamon and the allspice kind of toned down that flavor for me, so it's just the perfect consistency of pumpkin for me. And on top of that, adding the condensed milk 3 times. So remember, we added it on the before we refrigerated them, after we refrigerated them, and then 10 minutes after we baked them, and then we added more and then let them bake for about 5 minutes more. So that's a total of 3 times. Just gave it this nice crunch here on the side. And I love the glaze on the top. So good. To me, these are just home. It reminds me everything about home. It reminds me everything about growing up and my culture. And you know what? I'm missing home right now, but I'm glad to have a little piece of home with me right now. A few things before we go. You can store your empanadas in an airtight container for up to 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, I would just toss them out. You have to keep in mind that we did use that pumpkin puree, so I wouldn't try eating them after 3 weeks, but I don't anticipate them lasting that long. And one last thing, don't forget to go and check out Norma from Love and Fuzzy Dusters and Maddie from 2 Chicks Ever After. They are baking up some yummy desserts. Let them know that I sent you and leave them a little pumpkin emoji on my behalf. I'm sad to see you go, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. For more uploads like this, I hope you consider subscribing and hitting that post notification bell for uploads. And until then, my fellow endeavors, have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye.
I need your consent on a few items to continue.
All right, Bixby. I'm not talking to you.
I need your consent on a few items to continue.
No.